Hope you're doing well today. This is day 51 of the book Unstuck by Kimberly Jones. You can get this on Amazon. This is hardback and comes in the Kindle version, but also on Audible. So Audible is cool because you could play it while you're driving, and that's a good way to listen to it. All right, so today is called No Excuses. We are going to read out of Genesis 4:9, and it says, "The Lord asked Cain, 'Where is your brother? Where is Abel?' 'I don't know,' Cain responded. 'Am I my brother's guardian?'" That's a pretty sassy response to God, because what had happened is that God asked Cain and Abel to make a sacrifice to him. They brought his sacrifice to him, and Cain brought grain. Abel brought an animal, which is what people did back then as a blood sacrifice, okay? God was not happy with Cain's sacrifice because it was more about Cain's offering was rejected because he was really not confessing his sin or anything like that, okay? So his heart condition, the condition of his heart with the Lord was not right. So the biblical story is that Cain was so insanely jealous that he killed his brother Abel. And then what he said to the Lord was, "How do I know where he is?" He killed him, but he's saying to the Lord, "How do I know where he is? Am I my brother's keeper?" So it's really interesting. He was that. In growing up, we used the word snotty, like very sarcastic to the Lord. So he wasn't confessing. That shows you his heart's condition, really. He was full of rage and committed a vicious act. This began a lifetime of excuses for Cain. And so we're going to talk about excuses today. And these are excuses to avoid as a beginner paralegal. I learned pretty quickly that number one, honesty is the best policy when working in any workplace. If we make a mistake, you confess it, because you're building trust and you want to take the high road in this. I've seen legal secretaries, paralegals hide things because they were not wanting to own up to something. Okay, that never works. It always comes out. You know, one of the staff members, one of the legal secretaries, was out for the day, and her attorney came up to me and said, "Leslie, I have got to find a document. You've got to help me." And he needed that copy of it because he had to get on the phone with a client or something. And I went by her desk because it wasn't in the file. I went by her desk, and there was literally a pile of filing about 2 feet high next to her chair on the floor, where it couldn't really easily be seen, and nothing was alphabetized, so we had to just tear through that to find it. It was there, but we had, there's a reason I said this to him. I looked up at him and I said, "Are you happy with this?" There's a reason for that. And he was like, "No, I know." So there was a hiding, and I would suggest, and that's not even part of what the 8 excuses I'm going to talk about. Number one, when an attorney, when an attorney is asking you, did you get something done? Number one, too busy with other tasks, okay? Number two, I didn't realize that deadline was today. So how do you know when a deadline is? It should be on the calendar, okay? So you have to keep on top of those things. That was number 2. Number 1, when you're too busy with other tasks, you've got to have communication with the attorney, and you've got to prioritize what's important. And you and he or she get that set so that you're working on the things that the attorney wants you to work on. You don't make that choice. You work as a team together to get that straight. Okay? Okay, number 3. I thought someone else was handling it. You have to take the role as a paralegal, even as a beginner, of leadership and understanding who's in control of what task. What are you assigned to do? What are they assigned to do? Okay, it might be that you have another staff member on the case too. Maybe there's another paralegal and you're both working on the same case. You have to know what each other is doing, okay? And you have to talk about it. Number 4, you didn't do something because you're not really well versed in Microsoft Word or beginner, the basic Excel or basic PowerPoint. And so, you don't know how to do some of the more advanced skills in that software. And so you become this excuse machine, and that will not fly in most workplaces. You've got to be the problem solver. Number 5, wasn't given clear instructions. Well, then you have to ask questions, and you learn to ask better questions, okay? And always answer the question. It's a journalistic thing. Listen to this. Write this down. Who, what, when, where, why. Okay, so when you have that in front of you and you have it on your legal pad and you're going in to speak to the attorney, write that down. The who, what, when, where, why, the 5 W's, put that over to the side. And as that attorney's giving you information, say to yourself, who is this about? When did it happen? Like, that will help you ask the right questions, okay? That's a good trick to use. Journalists use it all the time. 6, didn't know where to find the info. Well, that's part of your job, okay? So if you're like, I don't know where this would be located in the file, you're gonna have to dig. And you can ask another staff member if they have a moment, but don't bombard them with questions, and don't ask the same questions over and over again. Don't be what I call the excuse meister, the time waster, okay? And they will help you, but don't abuse that. Number 7, haven't had enough training yet. I'm going to tell you something. A lot of that training, a lot of the knowledge is going to be on you. You have to do certain things when you start your first job. And you have to explore the filing cabinet. You have to look on the computer. Take it upon yourself to do that, okay? Number 8, saying, I guess. I just assumed. Assuming is guessing, and we do not guess in the legal field. So you have to get the facts. Never guess. Don't assume anything. That should just be in your brain all the time. Don't guess or assume that somebody else got it done. You have to keep up on top of everything. That's our job. That is our job as paralegals. You can't assume that a judge has already signed an order. You have to go into the court system and find out if that has been done. If it hasn't, why? You make friends with the judge's assistant. You are nice to people just to be nice. It makes it for a better world, But you are waiting for something from a paralegal that's involved in the case, and they're on the opposite side and you're not getting it. You follow up. You don't assume that they're going to email that to you by 5 o'clock. If they said they're going to do that, then, and they haven't, and it's 4:30 or 4 o'clock, you follow up. Okay, don't assume things. It will not be good for your career. You will be a much better paralegal when you take that tack, take this advice. Okay, if you've made those excuses in the past, you have to stop and don't play the blame game, blame it on somebody else. You know, take the leadership role. Even if you're an introvert, take the leadership role. It will serve you well. Cain in the Bible took a horrific turn in the decision he made to do away with his brother, as if God couldn't see him. Not the brightest light, that old Cain. And he was an excuse meister. It didn't serve him well, you know, and the heart's condition will come out, even in the legal field. It will come out. If somebody's used to lying all the time, it will come out. I've had a client or two like that. And just by questioning multiple times over a conversation and asking the same question, the story changed 3 or 4 times until the truth finally came out. And we needed to have that truth because we were taking this client. The client had to attend a hearing where he would be grilled by 2 attorneys and a lay person who was part of that group. Part of the excuse making is laziness, failure, self-doubt, giving up. We're taking the easy way out. We're used to speaking that way. We're used to doing that. That has to change. Honestly acknowledge that you made a mistake. If you only know basic Microsoft Word and the other 2 software packages I mentioned, that's not acceptable. You have to up your game. So when it comes to this with your life, that impacts your life too. Are you used to hiding and lying or making excuses? It's time to do a 180 and turn from that, okay? Acknowledge that these mistakes. You know, I had to do a 180 in my personal life when I was 20, let's see, I was about 21-ish, let me think, 22. No, I guess I was 21. I had to do a complete 180 and start to grow up and make changes. And that did occur. And then at age 23, I discovered what the Lord did for me on the cross. And this is how much the Lord loves us. In John 3:16, it says, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him will not perish but have everlasting life." You know, he loves us so much that he gave his only begotten Son, Jesus, that whosoever believeth, that means you. And I read that in a booklet called Our Daily Bread. It was a devotional my mother-in-law had, and I asked if I could borrow it. And I took it home. I was in her home in New Jersey, went back to Illinois where we lived at the time. And I read that God absolutely adored me. I didn't know that. And I read that verse, and it said, you can know where you're going when you pass. You can have forgiveness of sin. And I confessed my sins to the Lord that day and asked him to save me. And it was an incredible moment for me personally. You can do that too today. Just pray that simple prayer. Say, Lord, I confess my sins to you today, and I ask you to save me. You will know now where you're going when you pass. You will spend eternity in heaven. And so it's that simple. He made salvation simple. So I hope this was helpful for you today. It's important to say bye-bye to excuses. And the Lord will bless you. The Lord will bless your efforts. Give it all to Him. Have a great day today. Don't forget to go to my website I built for you, the Beginner Paralegal. Go to paralegalcoffeetalk.com. Look under every tab that was built with just for beginner paralegals. Look under Paralegal Resource Hub. That is free. Join that, totally free. What else is there? The Paralegal, I always say this, it's called the Cover Letter Secrets tab. You can look under there. That's a class I just reopened. And so that's for you. That will help you write a knock 'em dead cover letter or two. But there's templates and videos in that class. The legal break-in book I wrote for you, the beginner. And the other tab to look under is Paralegal Resources. So explore that website, have fun, and be sure though to go to the hub, Paralegal Resources Hub. You have to sign up because it's a separate area and they require sign up, but it's free. And you get to watch some other videos there that will be helpful to you. Have a great day. Any questions, comments, post them below. I love hearing from you, and really do. And let's see what else. That's about it. Don't forget to that if you are having trouble with paralegal, with the cover letter, that class that I offer will teach you how to write a results-driven cover letter. Truly, it changed my life and enabled me to land job after job after I learned how to do that. So have a great one, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Take care.